It's the Meteorological Report, everybody. I'm Joey Only, your host, and we got Frankie McDonald here and the gang. Let's get on with the show right.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we've got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not.
It's the Comedy Meteorology Report. I'm your host, Joey Only, up here in the Caribou Mountains with my team of weather specialists, meteorologists, experts, Frankie McDonald, Cowboy Hilding Donaldson. I think we're probably going to see our friend Justin from Weather Center in Manitoba at some point here tonight. He might not have much time, so we'll have to give him the floor when he shows up. So we'll wait to see if he comes. But of course, we got, as always, Brandon Houck out there in Brooks, Alberta, the radio weatherman there who's reporting on severe thunderstorms coming through Edmonton right now. We got meteorologist Mark Ingalls down there on the BC South Coast. And he's going to share with us all his wisdom from all over the place. We got Hilding Donaldson, the Cowboy, Grassy Plains, British Columbia, and Frankie McDonald, of course, the star of the show. He's going to be with us here in just a moment's time. Of course, we are broadcasting on CFUR 88.7 FM, CKUW 95.9 FM, and CFBX 92.5 FM in Prince George, Winnipeg, and Kamloops. And also, maybe you're watching us on the live stream, Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. We start recording the radio show. We've got so much to talk about tonight, so maybe we better get to the talking part because I guess we're a talk show more than anything. It's time to go. Are you ready, Frankie? Let's go.
Frankie!
Can you yodel for us?
Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie?
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
Frankie McDonald, sir. How you?
I'm doing great. So, the internet's no longer working in Kugluktuk because of thunderstorms happening there right now. Bringing a lot of thunderstorms to Kugluktuk where Olivier is at.
The internet has been disrupted by thunderstorms in Kugluktuk. Hear that, folks? That's craziness. Craziness. It's been so warm up to the Arctic. There's lightning storms up to the Arctic right now, Frankie. It's really going on.
Lots of thunderstorms going on right now. And temperature's going to be more rain in Kugluktuk, Nunavut on Friday, and it's going to be less than 1 centimeter of snow on Sunday night in Kugluktuk. Then it's going to get cold again on Monday there. It was summer-like weather there. And the weather's acting odd in Kugluktuk, Nunavut, where Olivier is at.
What else you got for us this week, Frankie, on Weather News?
Lots of rain and thunderstorms in Vancouver, British, and BC Interior. It's going to get really, really hot in California. Then they got a big storm heading towards New York City and Boston, all those places, and Montreal, where Base Guy is at, and Ottawa, and all those places, and Maine, USA, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and Boston, Massachusetts, and Framingham, Massachusetts, where Michael P. Mahone's from.
Yeah, what else, Frankie?
And lots of rain. New York City all the way to Washington, D.C. is going to bring lots of cold air going all the way down to southern states as well. There's a hurricane, tropical storm Alvin aiming towards parts of Baja California this Saturday coming.
Yeah, I saw that, from the Pacific side.
Yes, it's going to bring more rain. And next week in Winnipeg and all those places, and thunderstorms in Winnipeg, Brandon and all those places, is going to bring lots of rain. And Winnipeg, Port H, Brandon with thunderstorms, say with North Dakota, South Dakota, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming as well. Then they got hot air fights back on Wednesday and Thursday in North Dakota, South Dakota as well. It's going to get hot as they're predicting a heat wave possible in British Columbia, including Vancouver and all those places sometime middle of June possible, but it's too far off yet.
Yeah, well, that's sort of happened already here this week, so it might happen again, I figure.
It had thunderstorms in Wells, British Columbia earlier.
Yeah, passed through this afternoon. Then we had a heavy rainfall here. The cold front passed through. Now the sun is out, Frankie. But
that means somewhere in Austin, Texas, had large hail yesterday. Not where Trey Campbell lives. Another part of Austin, Texas had so much large hail. Baseball-sized hail.
Huge hail, eh? It's only 9.4 degrees here now, Frankie, at 7 o'clock at night. Last night at this time, it was like 27 or 26.
It was huge hail in Texas. Then it gets some really hot air, fights back in Texas again to get cool air. And the Great Lakes region, like Toronto and all those places around the Hudson Bay and northwestern Quebec and northeastern Ontario, is going to bring cold temperatures there as well.
Okay,
And
what
the
else?
weather all across Mexico and all those places. Lots of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast in Panama and in Mexico, southern Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nigeria, and Honduras. Then it got Alvin aiming it towards Baja California, southern coast of Baja California, Mexico. And a lot of rain and thunderstorms in Panama right now. It's going to be an active Pacific hurricane season, same with active Atlantic hurricane season. Don't forget, Atlantic hurricane season starts June 1st, 2025. A lot of rain and thunderstorms going on in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, and northern Peru. And it's really lots of rain in parts of Amazon rainforest. It's Rio de Janeiro just entered dry season, little showers in the forecast. And next week it's going to bring southern Brazil is going to bring some rain in the forecast. Northern Argentina is really dry, so is northern Chile and southern Peru. And it's really dry right now. Desert, like lots of snow up in the mountains in southern Chile because their winter starts on June 20th. Lots of rain in coast areas of Chile. And to get really cold air in southern Argentina, like Falkland Islands and Usha, Argentina, Stanley Falkland Islands, and all those places. Lots of rain there. And lots of cold air there. It's really warm in Europe right now, like Spain, France, and lots of showers heading towards England and cool temperatures this Saturday, Sunday coming. Then we got more rain next week in England as well. It's going to hit parts of France next week in Germany, Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, Finland, Sweden with snow up in the mountains as well. Then it gets some snow up in the mountains of Norway, rain in the coast areas of Norway, Finland, Sweden as well. Then it gets some showers in forecast of Poland, Belarus, and some showers in Moscow. Going to bring some rain in Moscow sometime next week. And the weather all across the weather all across Japan. A lot of rain in the forecast in Japan right now. In Philippines, a lot of rain in Japan right now. It's going to hit Tokyo, Kyoto, but Sapporo, Japan's dry. Then the rain's going to hit for Sapporo, Japan next week. Lots of rain going on in southern China right now. In northern China, it's hot and it's dry right now. There's little showers in forecast. It's really humid in China right now in Taiwan. Lots of rain and thunderstorms in Taiwan. And it's getting hotter in Mongolia. They got some snow in the forecast in southern Russia. It's going to warm up real soon there. It's going to get really hot in southern Russia. In Siberia and Mongolia, it's going to get really hot there as well. There's a lot of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast in Bangladesh and Myanmar and Thailand and southern India right now. India's in the beginning of monsoon season. So much rain going on in Bangladesh and Myanmar and Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia and Thailand and all those places. Lots of rain there right now. And Indonesia's in the dry season right now. Showers, lots of rain in the dry season in India right now. In Papua New Guinea. In Singapore, Malaysia, and all those places. A lot of rain in Sri Lanka right now. It's really dry in Pakistan, Afghanistan, really hot and dry in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Yemen, Oman, and all these countries as well. In Northern Africa, lots of dry air and little showers and forecasts in Sahara Desert like Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco. A lot of rain and thunder in Sudan. It's really dry there right now. Ethiopia is getting the rainy season, southern Ethiopia. A lot of rain and thunderstorms in Nigeria, Ghana, and all those places in the rainy season. It's really dry in Botswana and Mozambique. They're in the dry season right now. And South Africa is really dry there right now. But warm in South Africa. And Zambia and Angola is really dry right now. So Mozambique, Madagascar, La Reunion, and Mauritius Islands. It's warm and dry right now during the dry season. Because their rainy seasons in December, January, February, March. In Australia. In Perth, Australia, they got some showers in the forecast in Perth, Western Australia. In Queensland, Australia. In northern New South Wales, Australia. Then they got some showers in the forecast and thunderstorms as well. In Central Australia, it's really, really, really dry. So it's Northern Australia. It's really dry. They got cold air aiming towards Sydney, Australia next Wednesday if possible. Over in places like in New Zealand, They got snow up in the mountains. They got cold air. New Zealand this Friday and Saturday coming up. And Christchurch, Dunedin, and Invercargill, New Zealand as well. Antarctica's dark 24 hours a day right now. Up in the Arctic is light 24 hours a day.
Frankie McDonald, the legend, the man himself. Anybody on the panel got questions for Frankie McDonald?
Yes.
One of you gentlemen here, one of you, Mark?
Frankie McDonald, do you guys get a lot of the smoke when there's fires further west?
They had smoke in 2023, in September 2023. It had a lot of smoke in Sydney, Nova Scotia from the fires in British Columbia back then.
Are you getting a lot of smoke out of the fires that are going on right now?
No.
Good for you. That's nice.
Brandon Hauk.
I'm not getting any of the smoke either. So, yeah.
That's because they're downwind of you.
That's right.
They're,
That's right.
They're getting all of your body odor.
Yes, they are. My body odor. So it's 32 degrees today. Okay. So Frankie. What did you have for lunch today?
I had a fish for supper, haddock for supper.
Nice. I love
Did you get it at Popeyes?
I just can't say I had a cook at home.
Nice.
Epic, Frankie. Hilden, you got a question for Frankie? Hilding Donaldson. All right, Hilding.
Don't think anything right off.
You can't think of anything right off. That was a big lead up to
I
that.
mean,
That's a
all
real
your guys'
cowboy
stuff.
move right there.
Yeah, I used to love that about my guys. Like my family are all real slow talkers. I'm not, but the rest of them
Hey,
are. They're all
Hilding,
like-
I'm doing great over House of Weather Interior, British Columbia, in the grassy plains.
Oh, well, we've been having gusty wind. And yesterday and today we had sunshine in the afternoons, but it's still been not any warmer than probably 25 out there. And then it feels a lot colder with the wind.
It's 25, pretty warm for this time of year up there, Hilding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, anything over 25 we think is warm here.
And I got something to say. So much Sahara dust coming all the way from northwest coast of Africa, traveling westward to Atlantic Ocean, heading towards Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Niger, Panama, Honduras, and Houston, Texas, and Austin, Texas, heading towards southeastern United States. Dry, dusty air coming all the way from Africa.
Mhm.
All the way from Africa, Frankie. Yeah, I seen that, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if this character here.
The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report.
Brought to you by
Smoking good barbecue.
Woo!
Can tell us anything about anything. Brandon Hauk, the Brandon Hauk Report.
Smoking good barbecue. That's right. We got 1 month until I judge the smoking good barbecue. 1 month away.
Oh
So-
man.
We're looking forward to it. By the way, I'm wearing the same shirt as that video right now too. So almost like that video was taken today. It's pretty
Justin's
awesome.
coming in right now.
Okay. Well, I'll let
Justin-
him jump on if you want.
Yeah, we may have
He's
to find
busy.
out if Justin. Hey, Justin, do you have a moment?
Yeah, can you hear me? That's okay. I'm here for the rest of the show, so just keep going what you're doing.
Oh,
okay.
Excellent. Good, we got you.
All right.
This is great
Awesome.
news. We're going to have lots of Manitoba updates for you tonight. Justin Ortel from the Weather Center of Manitoba is in the house. Okay, Brandon Hauk.
Yes. So I was just watching videos of trampolines flying and watching saw some damage right there not too long ago as well. Some roof damage. We have a destructive thunderstorm, which is I probably wouldn't call it a thunderstorm, but it's a gust front that was a thunderstorm not too long ago. And it's producing wind gusts of 120 to 130 kilometers an hour, trucking its way to the east. So I had to jump on some radio stations and give some radio broadcasts because I'm not influenced by this storm. So yeah, I get to take care of everything. I'm on like standby, whatever. So if this thing moves off to the east, I'm going to have to jump on more radio stations the next hour. So it's moving it east at about 60 kilometers an hour, and it's packing a punch. No doubt about that. And my messages are just keep dinging and dinging and dinging. And you know, when the weather is active, you keep getting the dinging, dinging, dinging messages. That means there's some active weather nearby. No doubt about that. Okay. I'll also touch base in the storms we had earlier this week, because we're going to be we've had quite an active week here in Alberta on the storm front of things. So earlier this week on Monday night, we had another threat of severe weather. Now, this one wasn't as strong as winds as what we're dealing with at this hour as of 8:15 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on the 29th of May here. So back on Monday, we had these thunderstorms rolling up from the south. And I'd say one thunderstorm missed me to the west of me here, and it was rumbling away. You can hear thunder and see a few flashes of lightning, so it wasn't too strong. And then the secondary thunderstorm rolled on in from the south, and it also missed me off to this time to the east. And then the next one rolled in right behind that one, and that one hit dead on. That was a direct hit with fairly intense wind. And we also had a pretty good downpour with that one as well back on Monday. And then the third one rolled up, and it missed me just to the east as well, but it still got a good lightning show out of it too. So about 4 thunderstorms rolled in back on Monday. And then last Friday we had thunder. Yeah, I'm going backwards here in time. Last Friday I had another thunderstorm, and had a bit of a shelf cloud, a bit of hail in that one. Torrential downpour, 15 millimeters in half an hour in the city of Brooks there. So quite an active week on the weather front of things here in southern portions of Alberta. Now,
well, you had a confirmed tornado as well.
Yes, and Monday we had two confirmed tornadoes actually on Monday.
Oh,
just issued just about 2 hours ago, and here we go. So they happened in the community of Atmore and Avenir. So they just Northern Tornadoes Project did a ground survey there on May 26th there. So that is just to the northeast of Edmonton. There was damage to structures, damage to including a house as well back on Monday. And they were both rated EF1 on the enhanced Fujita scale there. So we had 2 tornadoes just to the outskirts, pretty much between Athabasca and Lac La Biche there earlier this week. So yeah, it's been a very active week. And then plus we've got the wildfires that have really launched up across northern portions of Alberta. We have a significant wildfire that has really taken off in the last hour near Westlock. I believe the one provincial park area just outside in Westlock County has been evacuated at this time. So they're dealing with that. And plus you had the winds gusting 120 kilometers an hour at the same time. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that fire in the next hour or so. Also another fire near Pierce that got going earlier today, also with the strong winds and the thunderstorms as they really got that fire going. And that evacuation alert, those people are being asked to go to Edson, and that is off in the far western side of the province there. And then we had a few more fires up in the far northern part of the province, just outside, kind of just south of High Level there. And then we're also continuing to keep an eye on the fires that are going on in the Peerless Lake, the Trout Lake areas. Those are some major fires that are continuing to burn there, up in Fort Chippewa Lake as well. And another big fire located near Conklin, just south of Fort McMurray. That's another one we'll continue to watch as well in the days ahead. So far, no evacuations have been needed for that particular fire that is burning near Conklin, but they're getting ready for potential evacuations in the days ahead with the heat that we had today. But the other thing is it was very, very hot today. We were at least 32, 33 degrees here in Brooks today. And up into the far northern part of the province, Fort Chippewa, the area just outside of Lake Athabasca, was the hot spot in Canada today at 34.7 degrees. So it was brutally hot today across the province. And now we've got that very sharp cold front that's moving its way through, and that's allowing for temperatures to go down. Actually, in the Edmonton International Airport with that line of severe weather and damaging winds. They recorded a wind gust of 130 kilometers an hour in the last hour at the Edmonton International Airport. And I had a report come in, somebody sitting on the airplane there, and it's bouncing around pretty good. I don't think any flights are going to be going anywhere anytime soon at the airport until this wind settles down. No doubt about that. But wind gusts of 130 kilometers an hour. And in about half an hour, the temperature went from 31 degrees to 18 in half an hour at the Edmonton International Airport. So quite a fairly sharp cold front that went through there as well. Now, as we are looking ahead into the weather forecast picture here, into the longer range forecast here for us across the prairies, I am expecting a potential for a chance of thunderstorms tonight around the midnight hour tonight in the Brooks area. So that means another thunderstorm for me, I guess. And then as we move into tomorrow, we'll see our temperatures cooler back to low to mid 20s. So still above average, but a little bit more on the comfortable side after the heat that we had today. And then we crank up the heat again for Saturday. Temperatures low to mid 30s. And then we have another fairly sharp front Saturday night into Sunday. And that could bring yet another round of strong thunderstorms west of Edmonton Saturday evening. Then as the front moves through, that allows temperatures to cool into next week. We're going to get a little bit more on the unsettled side as well. So we'll get some showers Sunday. We'll also get some showers in the Monday as well, with temperatures, daytime highs pushing the teens for the early stages of next week. And we'll probably bounce around the 20-degree mark in the days following suit. And then the other thing we'll have to watch is the smoke from those fires up in northern Alberta. As we get more into the northwesterly flow, that may get dragged down from the north to the south into the early stages of next week there. So there's that. Then I'm going to switch gears here, talk about another exciting thing that happened this week as well, because we had the Fred Page Cup back on Sunday. Brooks Bandits won that one cleanly, I guess. Yes, it was a good game. It was a good series against Chilliwack Chiefs. And we had the parade yesterday with the Chiefs. Or not yesterday, the day before, Chiefs and Bandit, or Chiefs weren't there. No, they were not there. They didn't show up to the parade, but the Bandits were there, and they were making a lot of noise downtown Brooks, and yeah, big fun celebration. Whole community coming out, having a grand old time back on Tuesday night for the celebration, and then I got to hoist the Fred Page Cup this week, so that was one of the most exciting things. I don't have much for news stories this week, actually. Pretty dim on that side of things. So yeah, that will do it for this week's edition of the Brandon Houck Report.
Hey, Brandon Houck.
Houck Report.
If you don't have a story, I actually have one that you might be interested in, and we'll toss it into your segment. Are you ready for this?
Oh, sure.
In Portland, Oregon, I just saw this from Oregon Public Broadcasting in Portland, Oregon. Along the Columbia River, there are two geese, and this is the most Portland headline. It says, an unusual pairing of geese draws a gaggle of Portland area birders.
Ooh.
And so what's happened is a Canada goose is mating with a greater white-fronted goose. And of course, Portland, being the kind of town that it is, has so many birders that this is a big deal.
Wow.
So there you go. If you find yourself in Portland this spring, go over to the river and go Blue Lake Regional Park and go check out the geese.
All the people who like be saying like, it's not natural, man, and you give them a statement like that, and they're like, oh. It's like, well, in nature, everything just does what it wants to do. Stop making rules. Stop making rules on people's lives. Should we talk to Justin here for a little bit? I think we want to spend most of the show talking to Justin before we come to you, Mark. So let's get a start with you, Justin. Sort of set what we're going to have tonight to talk about.
Well, yes. Hello, everyone. And just want to remind people that we were talking about this situation and how it was going to ramp up on the show last week, exactly from now to what it was last week. And I remember Joey and I were actually talking and saying that there was a very high, almost unlimited ceiling for these fires. And, now we're seeing that unfortunately coming to fruition. So yesterday, Premier Wob here in Manitoba issued, alongside the Manitoba government, a province-wide state of emergency for well, because of the wildfire situation and how dry it is, and just I think really the sheer amount of evacuees and evacuations that's going on in Manitoba right now. And here's a quote from him yesterday during the press conference. And this was yesterday. I don't have an update right now, but he had said that about 17,000 people will be evacuating over the next few hours. And this was yesterday afternoon. Most headed to Winnipeg. And he said this is the largest evacuation Manitoba will have seen in most people's living memory. So it's very bad, the situation in Manitoba right now. We have a lot of evacuations going on. I don't have a list in front of me, but off the top of my head, Lynn Lake has been evacuated. We have a new fire this afternoon that has caused evacuations over in Split Lake, Manitoba, northeast of Thompson. And then we also have evacuations further southwest. We have Flin Flon that's been evacuated, and that's probably the largest evacuation there, 6,000 residents evacuating mainly to Winnipeg, Manitoba. They've made their way down Highway 10. Thankfully, I heard that went fairly well. And we also have Sheridan, Manitoba, that has been evacuated. But there is some sad news there. I've been in contact with the mayor and the deputy mayor of Sheridan, Manitoba. And they have told me that they really have not received much help from the province or the federal government yet. Really, the only thing that has kind of been not allowing the fire to enter Sheridan itself has been locals, about 20 members of the local town of Sheridan helping to try and keep the area watered and try and keep the fire line away from Sheridan. So that is sad to know. Hopefully they will send some more resources there, but we know
part of
how
the problem you have in Manitoba is that there's so much activity where they put resources, but it's hard to get resources up there. It's hard to give them get camps set up. It's hard to get food up there to feed your soldiers, your wildland firefighters. So you get these, we've had these problems in northern BC, right? Where to set up the resources it takes to fight these fires. I mean, you're out there, it's a long ways out there, and you have these massive fires where putting 20 bodies on it's not gonna,
no, unfortunately
necessarily change the outcome.
Yeah, and I do think most resources have went to Flin Flon, and for good reason. That is where the highest density of population is right now. Lynn Lake has also had a lot of resources up there, and because the town of Sheridan itself, I think there's about 80 members in Sheridan, so it makes sense that you kind of have to triage those resources. And another fire that sorry, my son there in the background. Another fire that is problematic and that has caused evacuations is the Cross Lake, Manitoba fire. They're just north of the lakes. And yesterday there was quite a scene when the evacuation notice went out. There were cars lined up for kilometers and kilometers because from Cross Lake to Norway House, where these evacuees are going, they have to use a ferry. And so there were probably hundreds of vehicles lined up, and it takes the ferry about 4 to 5 minutes per vehicle to transport them across this waterway. So you can only imagine, if you do the math, that takes a long time. And in fact, I'm not sure, haven't had a recent update, but they may still be doing those evacuations.
Justin, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Is this a single car ferry?
I do think it is. I don't have confirmation on that though.
Yeah, because a lot of the river ferries can take a couple of cars, but if this is a single car ferry and you're trying to evacuate even a small town, that's going to take forever.
Yeah, I saw an 8-minute video of somebody just driving alongside the vehicles, and yeah, like I said, there was hundreds, if not over 1,000 vehicles. So not the best situation there. We're looking on the map here. We see the Genpeg fire as well, and good news is there's not too many residents there. It's basically a ghost town now. It used to have about 400 population. But what is concerning is the hydro station on the northeast side of town right there. And the fire is kind of headed toward that way. If we get that southwest wind continuing, it'll be headed there. And that generation or that station there is what is giving power to a lot of northern Manitoba residents. So that is a major story we're watching at the moment as well.
Can I jump in
Yeah,
again?
yeah, you can hop in for a second. Yeah.
Sorry, talking about the hydro dam. So regular listeners know I'm in the energy industry. And so I just want to say, like, that dam isn't going to really take a lot of damage from a fire, but your problem's going to be taking out transmission lines, right? And so it doesn't matter how much water you're flowing through the dam to generate power if you lose the transmission lines to send it anywhere. And typically what they'll do during a wildfire is they'll preemptively shut down the transmission lines. And that makes it so that there's not, like, if something collapses abruptly and unexpectedly, that can cause entire systems to go down. And so they do that preemptively. And so what'll happen is there's enough power. Manitoba's tied into the Eastern Interconnection, and it you know, it's a net exporter actually, but it can pull in all the power that they need from the US Midwest. It's just a question of at what cost, right? And so
Is there lines that go up to these places?
Yeah.
Beyond here
yeah,
too,
well,
but you
there will be.
also have the infrastructure as well, right? Buildings and
And the
residences.
people that have to be there to run the station as well.
Yeah.
Right. So I would expect that, like, a lot of northern Manitoba south of this probably wouldn't lose power, losing that generation. But north of there, that's probably the only line that
It could
goes to
be.
communities that are to the north of there. So like this, I just want to make sure that people realize that we're not framing this as this dam's going to go out and Manitoba is really going to struggle as a whole.
Right.
But that region specifically could see power loss but then since it had mostly damaged the transmission, that if they put the resources to it, can be rebuilt fairly quickly.
And I do want to mention that the power is actually out currently in Split Lake due to the fire that really got going there a few hours ago. And another update in terms of the Split Lake fire, or I guess Rachel says they preemptively shut it off. So, but they're
another
not
story with the transmission lines.
The fire was very close to lines, but they're not expecting they're not expecting power to be back in Split Lake for at least a couple days until this fire can get under, can get kind of away from the town a little bit. But I don't know if that's even going to happen. Split Lake could be without power for a while. But Highway 280 going through Split Lake up to Gillam and then down to Thompson, that major thoroughfare, that entire stretch of highway is closed right now. But there are evacuees, I think, traveling from Split Lake up to Gillam. Young children and elderly are utilizing that stretch of highway currently. So that's an update in terms of Split Lake that I had.
There was two
Hopefully
fires
the
there
young
today,
children
was there?
aren't driving themselves.
One that was at the dump and then they got that, then something else broke out. Like, is that?
Yeah, that is what we are hearing at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's craziness. Craziness. So
Yeah.
Split Lake, that's not in a good place, whenever you have a fire southwest of town. That's generally the direction I think is the worst direction to have a fire, if you're gonna like roll the dice. Most of the times you prefer it to be on this side of you. Although on the prairie, shifting winds are more of a thing,
Right.
Certainly, and that's what that, two frontal systems moving through now. I'm concerned about shifting winds over the next bunch of days.
And
pushing
we did
things.
have. Oh, sorry. I was just going to hop in here that we had a concerning update from the chief of Cross Lake, and he had put out a very urgent call about 4 to 5 hours ago, an open letter to the Minister for Indigenous Services Canada. Cross Lake had a medical crisis. they had a serious situation in Cross Lake. Their nursing station was shut down, and the nurses were pulled, leaving people completely abandoned without medical service. Dr. Muller stayed behind, but he has no nurses to assist him. They had pregnant women who have nowhere to go, and we're setting up a makeshift clinic. This was 4 hours ago in one of the center offices in Cross Lake to help if anyone is urgently needing to deliver their baby or treat wounds or just to give care to residents there. So I don't have an update on that, but that is scary in Cross Lake.
My God, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Justin, can you talk a little bit about the wildfires that broke out a couple of weeks ago between Winnipeg and Kenora? How's that going?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of people kind of wondering about those. I really think they have started to take kind of a new run, a new growth over the last couple of days. There is one in particular that is 1 kilometer away from, I don't remember which town it is, but it's very close, and they're watching to see if they need evacuation notices there. Let me just find the fire bulletin for the day, and then I'll come back to that.
Yeah, okay, that's great reporting, man. That's so much.
Mm.
That's so much. Well said. Well done.
Yes, I will
True.
touch on, Rachel reminded me, up across northwestern Manitoba, the First Nation of Puckatawagan has also been evacuated, and that fire is looking very angry. And we did have a message from someone, I think, who lives there or is friends with someone there, and they said that it was getting really bad through the late afternoon hours, that helicopters have had to come to medevac people from Puckatawagan. So that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it looks
And
like the fire is right on their access road, right?
yeah, and it was so explosive that I think some of the firefighters actually too had to back off the fire line. So
Yeah, that's a common play when you have this extreme fire behavior like you've had on a lot of these. Yeah, I
yes.
mean, I don't know what's going on in Sheridan, but some of those
Yeah, that does not look good in Sheridan. I really hope it's just smoke, but I mean, there could be fire actively in the community right now. It's really hard to say.
yeah, it's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
So, but definitely, we'll hear about it if if something really bad is going on.
We'll hear about it. Okay, Mark, I do have the fire bulletin, the latest fire bulletin 18 from the Manitoba government. And it's fire EA061, located 1 kilometer from Bird River. And it's massive. It's currently about 125,000 hectares, and it remains out of control. So that's probably the large one we're looking at there. Provincial Road 315 is closed and blocked at Poplar Bay Road in the Bird River area, with no travel beyond that to Bird River and onwards up PR 314 and Bissett, Manitoba. But some encouraging news. Fire EA062, located 6 kilometers from Lac du Bonnet, is approximately 4,000 hectares, but is classified as under control at the moment. And fire EA063, located on the Ontario border near Ingolf, is out of control. Approximately 3,771 hectares on the Manitoba side of the border, and approximately 31,276 hectares in total size. This fire started in Ontario and is also numbered as KEN 020. That's the update for Eastern Manitoba right now.
Kenora Fire,
All right.
Fire, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay, we'll come back to you and
Sounds
talk more about this, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's stop share for a minute here and look at all of us here. What a good bunch we got. Are we ready for the official Mark segment here? I'm
Let's go. I'm tired.
I'm obviously not. As
Just got the fat check for pushing that.
My name Mark Ingalls.
Pushing that agenda. It says here, HARP, climate change, whatever, in my bank account.
Meteorologist Mark Ingalls.
Hello. In my the radio listeners aren't going to know this, but in my intro here, Joey's got some video clips, and I am the most well-traveled of the video clips because I have a video clip from Surrey, and I have a video clip from Calgary, and I have one from Portland, and I have one from Haiti, all represented in there. I'm probably the only member of the panel that's been to Haiti.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's I'm sitting out here on my balcony in White Rock. It's a beautiful evening. I do wish it was raining, but it did rain this morning, so I'm very happy. Um, it is a little breezy, so I've got my toque on. We had the cold front that is bringing thunderstorms to the interior today. Today being Thursday, May 29. So if you're listening to us in Winnipeg, you're probably listening to us. The all Justin's really good fire info is a couple days old for you, but he's definitely keeping up with it on Weather Center in Manitoba. Um, but yeah, we had the cold front come through, and it poured pretty well before about 7 o'clock, and then we had some showers through the morning. It's almost complete sunshine now. I can just see a few clouds over the Cascades to my east. Um, but yeah, it's nice. It's like 17 degrees, a little bit of a breeze here on my balcony. So I got the toucan. It looks like tomorrow's going to be sunny again, but we have a string of looks like we've got a chance of a couple of weak cold fronts coming through over the next week or so. These are what's going to move eastward. These broader regional systems are going to move eastward to bring the chaotic weather to the prairies, like we've been talking about the whole evening. So what we're looking at is these weak cold fronts as they cross the prairies. They don't have a lot of moisture with them, and so we get these good thunderstorms in the BC interior and into Alberta. But as it moves further east, we lose the lift that the mountains provide. Um, it gets dried out, and so there's not a lot of rain associated with them. And so as we're looking ahead for the next week or so, we're looking at two or three probably pretty erratic wind events for Saskatchewan and Manitoba. We talked a lot about Manitoba. I want to note that Saskatchewan also has declared a state of emergency as well. That came out this afternoon.
Oh, I missed that.
It came out just before the show. So yeah, we're gonna get these erratic winds associated with these weak cold fronts, and then it warms right back up afterwards. The cold air behind these cold fronts doesn't look like it lasts very long. And what we're dealing with in the modeling is there's quite a bit of uncertainty, especially beyond like Tuesday, on how strong these cold fronts are going to be. Um, Part of that is because of the lack of weather balloon data that we're missing from the United States, because of the ongoing administration issues there. Part of that is the model. Well, a lot of it comes from that, and then what we're looking at specifically is how influential high pressure located over the southeastern United States is going to be. So if it's really quite strong, then that's going to impede a lot of that activity from making it across, especially the southern parts of the prairies. Up north in the forests, it kind of has less of an impact. But if that's weak, we may even bring these cold fronts down to like Chicago. Um, and it's just a big question mark. Today, the 12Z model runs, 12Z being like 12 UTC. 12Z model runs, some of them were given Baltimore next Friday a high of 70, and other ones were giving Baltimore a high of 88. That's Fahrenheit. So what's that in metric? 21 to 31. So a 10-degree spread on the modeling for next Friday, which of course is a ways out. That's 8 days out, but that's a huge spread, and it has major implications for what's going on. I didn't look specifically for the prairies because I'm not paid to do that. Maybe if Joey pays me to talk about the weather, then I'll do that.
Yeah, I can't afford you.
That's true. Yeah, so it's very very active weather across most of Canada for the next little while here. And I think it's really not good. Like we're gonna have very active fire weather on the prairies for a while. I think we're probably on the cusp of getting started here in British Columbia. We've got some fires up near Fort Nelson now, and we had some evacuations um, out in the remote areas in the northeastern part of the province. I think the thunderstorms we had today were pretty wet. I think thunderstorm activity probably continues for a while, but we're going to see them get progressively drier. And of course, dry thunderstorms bring fires. And we didn't get much snow over the winter, which we kind of thought we would, and then it just didn't happen. So I think we're in for a rough year. I was looking at Ontario and Quebec, and you know, we say this a lot on the show. If you get it doesn't matter if it's a good fire year or not. If your house burns down, then it's a bad fire year for you. Um, but it looks like aside from like Kenora, Ontario and Quebec don't actually have that extreme of fire risk this year. Of course, there will be fires, and so you shouldn't let your guard down. It doesn't look like an extreme year. Of course,
Well,
that
it's like
it
the
could all
difference between
change.
like it's the difference between moments of stories like, oh, a fire is in the news for a day, and the difference between like, oh, this fire is burning for 2, 3 weeks straight and still coming.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really important to have a go bag. What we're seeing in Manitoba, like especially if you're listening or watching us and you live in a remote community, like you need to be aware of your escape route. And I know a lot of people are. It's just you know, as humans, we all need to be reminded of things as we're going about our lives because we're all just trying to survive, right? Um, so have a go bag ready, and that includes like some snacks, maybe some food for your journey, depending on your family's needs. You got to have some water with you, even if you're driving somewhere. During an evacuation, travel times are going to be much longer than they would normally. We just talked about that ferry up in northern Manitoba that like you only take one car at a time. Well, if you're in a town of even 50 people and it's taking one car at a time, that's going to take hours to handle. Um, Medicine, important documents. We in our go bag, we have our passports, and in our Canada, that's in our go bag. Just if you need it, you should have some it in your go bag. And we preach this all the time because it's just so important, and it's one of those things that like as you're living in Canada, especially in remote regions, like you need to know this stuff like the back of your hand. Not because it's going to happen to you today, but because if it does happen to you, it's going to happen fast and you're not going to expect it ahead of time. Preparation ahead of time saves lives. And now's the time to be prepared for whatever might happen. We had last year, we had that landslide on the Chilcotin River, and there were evacuations downstream from there. I live in the middle of White Rock. There's not a significant wildfire risk here any time of year, just because we're surrounded, like around us is the floodplain on the Campbell River, and um the the Serpentine River, I think it is, and that's all farmland and it's all built up city beyond that. And so we don't have a very high fire risk here, but like fire alarm went off in our building a couple of weeks ago, and it was dumping rain, and we didn't have our go bag ready, so we kind of hastily tossed stuff together and went outside. And the reason why our passports and visas are in there now is because we didn't think to do that until we were already outside, and we're watching the fire truck pull up, and we're like, well, too late for that. Thankfully nothing happened, but you just never know. You should be ready to leave. Also, like, the stuff that my grandpa told me growing up, have at least a half a tank of gas in your vehicle. Just stuff like that. Keep it in the back of your mind as we head into fire season. Think fire season. I think we're obviously seeing it in Manitoba and Saskatchewan now, and a little bit in Alberta, but I think prairies and Western Canada, we're in for it this year. Talking about 34 degrees up, almost to Northwest Territories today, and it's not even June yet. Like this is crazy stuff. So that's my preaching to you today. And with that, I'm going to go to bed. It's a pleasure, as always, to be with you all on your radios or on your YouTubes or
Thank
on
you,
your Spotify's or Amazon's or Apple's or Castboxes.
Right. You can find the show in all those places, everybody, by the way. You can find past episodes as well. So yeah, here's like the concern is as you look through the next bunch of days, and over through the weekend, no rain And look at the temperatures right now still, well, 45 minutes ago in Saskatchewan, like fire weather into the evening. You know, no appreciable rain coming over the next bunch of days. Go a little further out. Now the models, of course, aren't very accurate, but it's like the last place to get rain. That quadrant, you know, that dry quadrant. It's really, really hanging out there. If you look. I mean, you can't look into models that far ahead and really tell anything, at all.
And I sent you a video this week about the Sahara dust storm. I just sent you a clip of video.
Oh man, I should have been more on top of it, Frankie. I'm really sorry. I probably didn't download that one. Do you have it right handy? Can you share it?
I can share it. Mhm.
Excellent. Yeah. Any last words from anybody here on the?
And I'm just working to sharing it right now. I gotta do the hard way. I gotta share it.
If I got another couple minutes here, I just was gonna share things. Unless Frankie does the video first and then I go after that, we can do that.
Yeah, it looks like Frankie's got his video here.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Sahara dust is headed towards Gulf of Mexico and Houston, Texas on Friday, May 30th, 2025. Since the dry, dusty air is going to drive all the way from Sahara Desert. It's going to drive all the dry, dusty air all the way to South America, including Colombia, Venezuela, including Panama, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and parts of Mexico. It's going to bring a lot of dry, dusty air. Be prepared, because the dry, dusty air is heading all the way from west coast of Africa. And the Sahara Desert is going to drive dry, dusty air all the way to Gulf of Mexico. It's going to hit Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, and the parts of Louisiana. It's going to bring a lot of dry, dusty air coming all the way from northwestern Africa. Drive all the dry, dusty air all the way from northwestern Africa, all across westward direction in the Atlantic Ocean. It's going to hit Texas, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Panama, Colombia, and Venezuela. It's going to bring a lot of dry, dusty air. That's going to cause sky to change different colors in Texas, like Houston, Texas, Galveston, Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas, Austin, Texas, and the surrounding areas as well. Be prepared. Stay safe. Be safe.
Excellent video, Frankie. Excellent video. I love the part where you just suddenly shout out the one place there. That was really good.
That's great.
Now, what are you thinking, Justin?
Well, I just had a couple things to share. These are stats on the wildfires so far this spring, this year in Manitoba. And these were yesterday's stats, but I thought they were very interesting. That the Manitoba government said there were 18 active fires yesterday morning. That number, I'm sure, has gone up, obviously, with Split Lake and a few others now burning. 96 so far this year, but 77 is the 24-year annual average. So we're already way above that, and it's only May. And there was 198,000 hectares burned so far. And again, this was as of yesterday morning, which is almost triple the 5-year annual running average. So that's pretty insane. And then I also wanted to touch on the fact that the Flin Flon fire, there were drones up in the air, and water bombers could not get there because they cannot fly when drones are up. So that is part of the reason, not fully the reason, but part of the reason why the Flin Flon fire is so bad. And it is just a reminder to people that absolutely no drones anywhere around active fires. You can be charged and jailed, and also fined up to $15,000 in Manitoba, is what I'm hearing.
And humiliated on the internet as well.
Yes, that is a good point. And then I have one more thing for any evacuees going to Winnipeg. I'm hearing that any evacuees can access Y locations in Winnipeg free of charge for shower access and free recreational programming. Now, I'm guessing that is YMCA Winnipeg. So for any evacuees in Winnipeg, definitely check that out. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here, man. We really appreciated getting all that firsthand details on everything. And yeah, Justin from Weather Center of Manitoba, you can find him on YouTube and on the Facebook, of course. So, one of the concerns for me too is that we're going to have a lot more fires get started out of all this lightning activity that's going to be going on over the next while, right? We're going to have fires starting up in these quadrants. We're going to see an increase of thunderstorms up there this weekend. We're going to up into the Northwest Territories, that is for the radio listeners, right? So, I mean, and tonight there's again new lightning strikes here to the west of Fort McMurray. There's already active fires in that region throughout the boreal forest there in Alberta. They are taking a little bit of rain tonight at least, so that's nice. Lots of lightning in southern BC been going on for the last bunch of hours, starting to calm down in BC a little bit though, at least.
And how is the forest fire season looking in interior British Columbia this summer in July?
So far, I don't have an opinion yet still for the interior BC. I mean, look, it's going to get hot this weekend in southern interior, but not so for the caribou, right? So I'm on the fence of, we're taking some rain right now. It's like things are kind of, or, average, normal or whatever right now. It's not, nothing really crazy is going on in terms of, we had a couple days of really warm and then, a return to like this sort of miserable pattern here, at least in the caribou. It's cold right now. What is it? It's 7 Celsius right now. Last night at this time, it was, I don't know, 1 million. It was so hot.
And I'm sharing the screen to see the June 12th, but it's too far off yet. I just sharing the screen and investigating the weather. There's going to be really hot air sometime next Wednesday and Thursday in British Columbia, including Vancouver and Victoria.
It is possible. We could see, this be a pattern of lows coming through, drawing up big heat. So I don't have like the usual outlook every year where I just feel confident about what July and August might be.
Then it got a really hot air in Vancouver, Victoria. You go really warm air going out with Yukon Territory on June 12th possible.
It's really bad for the Northeast. It's really bad for the boreal forest in general. What has Brandon got?
So yeah, we just had final report from that wind gusts out of Edmonton International Airport. And it was at 129 kilometers an hour, and it was the strongest wind gusts in 60 years at the Edmonton International Airport. The second strongest all-time wind gusts on record at the Edmonton International Airport, and the strongest May wind gusts on record at the Edmonton International Airport tonight.
Crazy. Frankie, how can people find you on the internet?
If you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky's at Frankie MacD, my ex-forming Twitter's at Frankie MacD, my link tree is Frankie McDonald, my Facebook is Frankie McDonald, and my link tree is Frankie McDonald, my Instagram is Frankie MacD1984, my threads is at Frankie MacD1984, my TikTok is FrankDon1984, my Clapper is FrankDon1984, my Twitch is FrankDon1984, my Snapchat is Frankie MECD1, my YouTube channel is Docs, and my link is Frankie McDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Don. You're listening to Community Logical Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
That's Frankie McDonald. I'm Joey Only, and that's the show, Frankie.
That's the show.
That's the show. That's the show, everybody.
Stay safe.
Okay, that's the show, Brandon. He's supposed to say something, Brandon. That's the show.
That's not the show. No, I got a storm coming.